Back to school season has officially kicked off, and while kids are excited about the fresh notebooks, we were talking about this, the crisp backpacks, parents are facing a different kind of homework, managing the rising costs of prices from supplies, tech, and activities. They're all up about 5% compared to just last year, putting the pressure on family budgets. So joining us today is our financial expert, Pattie Ehsaei. Did I pronounce that right, Pattie? Are you with us? Can you hear me? Pattie, are you here? She's going to be talking about practical strategies.
Yay.
Hi. To help us families stretch our dollars. Good. We can't see you yet, but I do hear you, and I'm glad you can hear me. Is it Pattie Ehsaei?
It's Ehsaei, like a sigh of relief.
Ehsaei. All right.
And where are you joining us from this morning, Pattie?
I'm joining from California, from Los Angeles.
Oh, we got a little West Coast theme going.
Yeah, we do.
West Coast theme.
Good morning, bright and early. Okay, so let's talk about this. Surviving back to school shopping and budgeting like a pro. Can you break down your 60-30-10 rule and how families can apply it this year?
Yes, so that's really important. First of all, the first thing you want to do is you need to set a budget for how much money you have to spend for back to school. That is the most important part, okay? But once you set the budget, you use 60-30-10. 60% of that budget goes towards essentials like notebooks, pens, backpacks. 30% goes to tech and 10% goes to miscellaneous like art supplies, sporting goods. But the most important thing is for you to sign up for a budgeting app so you stay on track with what your budget is and you're less likely to have impulse shopping.
Well, let's talk, before we talk about exactly how to budget, that 30% for tech, what are the common items that folks need now? I know that a lot of school districts do school district issued iPads and that kind of thing.
Correct. Yes, they do have iPads. Sometimes you do need laptops. So some schools have iPads, laptops. It depends on where you're going, but Americans are going to spend between $300 to $500 on tech this year in 2025, which is outrageous. So instead of spending that money, what you should do is you should buy refurbished items from Apple, from Best Buy. They come with warranties, so you know you're not buying it lemon, and if it turns out to be lemon, you can just give it back. But if you can't afford to buy it, that's okay, because schools now have rental programs, or your local library has a rental program. So you can rent tech, and we know how quickly, tech gets outdated. So renting might even be a better option.
I've been seeing a new trend where you don't buy your kid a new backpack every year. If it's still in good shape, you just keep using it. And I loved that. Also, Facebook Marketplace for things like lunch boxes and backpacks. I found that to be a good spot. Do you have any other secret gems or places that we could go to find affordable things for school?
Yes, absolutely. OfferUp has amazing second-hand, gently used products or items that are up to 80% off. I mean, you just can't lose with that. And there is no shame in the game of buying stuff that is used, okay? Or I also suggest go and buy in bulk from Costco. And a lot of people are like, I don't need 30 erasers. Yeah, I get it. Get with other parents, buy everything in bulk. Yes, that go to the same school, that need the same products. And when you buy in bulk, you save between 20 to 30%.
That's a great idea. Pattie, you also mentioned budgeting apps. Okay, what are a couple that you can recommend? What do they actually do? Because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, another app. I have to download an app through my school to get certain bits of information. It's almost like, oh my gosh, just email me. There's too many apps. But run us through the advantage of possibly doing this.
Budgeting apps keep you on track and tell you exactly where you're spending your money. So I love Rocket Money. YNAB is their personal capital. There are so many apps available. And the reason that you use them is to know exactly where your money is going. So many people just spend, and they have no idea whether they're spending most of their money on eating out, on clothes, on shopping, on other accessories or goods. So by having a budgeting app, you stay on track, you see where you're blowing your money, and most importantly, where you're wasting it.
Have you found with those budgeting apps, I've done those in the past too, but I always get nervous giving them access to my checking account because, they'll bring in all of your expenses that you've been, divvying out and tell you where it's going. Have you heard in your experience that going awry? Like maybe there's fake ones out there, or are they pretty good? Like you mentioned Rocket Money. There's a few others that are more reputable. Is that something that you would recommend?
Yes, so do your research, but the major ones are Rocket Money, like I said, YNAB, Personal Capital. Do your research. None of them so far, knock on wood, have had any data breaches. So, that's a really, really good thing. But I say the risk, if you're going with someone reputable, is very minimal. And the risk really, the reward outweighs the risk.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, based on what Caitlin said, Patty, it's not like you need to, if you go to Home Depot or something, or go to Office Max to get your school supplies, you're not manually entering in what you spent. This thing, it just uploads it and it gives you this complete financial picture.
Yes, what you do is you link your credit cards that you use or your bank accounts to the app. And then as transactions come in, it categorizes for you. So it knows if you're buying something from Uber Eats, and that puts it in the meals category. It knows if you're shopping. And if it doesn't know what it is, it asks you to categorize it and make a rule. So the next time you buy the item, it's categorized appropriately.
So we're mentioning how things are up 5%, the cost of items. What have you seen in your research has been the biggest jump in prices for school items?
Technology.
Okay.
Like we mentioned before, technology has been the biggest jump. A lot of tariffs are happening now, unfortunately, and times are tight. So that has been huge this year.
What do you tend to see that the categories, you do this personal finance, the general category, as we widen out here, that families are struggling to make ends meet with right now? Is it the grocery bill? Is it their utility bills?
It's really the grocery bills. The grocery bills have been high, and they were supposed to come down with a new administration, but unfortunately they haven't. So people are really struggling just to put food on the table. And this is why I say budgeting is so important, because you can really, really figure out where your money is going, where it's not supposed to be going, and put that money where it belongs, which is buying food for yourself and your family.
So you mentioned this rule of 60-30-10. Does this translate to the big picture too, not just for school supplies, but maybe like the 60% is necessities for your house, your transportation, your walls, obviously I said house, or your electricity, and then the smaller budgets for different items?
So that rule is a little different. That rule is 50-30-10-10. Okay, so 50% of what you make should go to your needs. 30% maximum to your wants, 10% should go into savings, and 10% should go in your investment account. That's the way you should really think about it. But you also should have an emergency fund, so that 10% that you're putting in your investment account, for the first 6 months, separate it out. 5% investment, 5% emergency fund, until you have about 3 to 6 months worth of savings in your emergency fund. Then once you do, that money goes into your investment fund.
Wow, wait, 50, 30, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
That'd be ideal. Maggie and I struggle with the 10% savings a lot of times,
That's
because
like a double.
we do the investments, we do the 5-2-9 for our kids, but like it's the savings that gets us a lot.
Yeah.
Patty, do you have while we have you on the line here, do you have a credit card usage philosophy that you might be willing to share in terms of when it's smart to use a credit card, when it's smart to maybe just pay out of your checking? Does it depend on the responsibility or your credit card rating and that kind of thing? What's your message for folks out there?
This is what I say about credit cards. You should have one credit card that you use only. Really, that's all you need.
Okay.
Yes. And with that credit card, you can utilize to buy necessities, because you're going to buy those things anyway, right? Groceries, gas, all of that you can put on that credit card. But the most important thing is you pay it off at the end of the month. You never ever put anything on your credit card that you can't pay off at the end of the month, because that is going to lead to financial ruin, because you're just going to keep accumulating debt. You're going to be paying interest on it. So that's how you use credit cards. Otherwise, use your debit card if you cannot be disciplined enough to pay it off at the end of the month.
That was my question, is if a client comes to you and says, Patty, like, I have this history, I just crawled out of credit card debt, are there certain individuals where you'd be like, you know what, let's stick to what you have, not what not your credit limit?
Well, what about Afterpay? Afterpay or those other brands that you can buy something now and pay later, or breaking it up so you're not necessarily accruing debt from like service charges, but you're breaking it up into different pay. Is that okay, or is that no?
That is not okay.
Afterpay
is not okay. That is the biggest trap, because people use those items and those products when they don't even need it, and they know that they can't afford it right now. They're thinking, okay, I'm just going to make 4 payments. But when those 4 payments come due, you're not going to have the money. So if you don't have the money, all of it, to buy it now, do not use Afterpay, because if you miss 1 payment, I can't tell you the impact it's going to have on your credit score.
Oh.
I mean, it kills your credit score just with missing 1 payment. That's it. So it's a trap. Do not use buy now, pay later.
Okay, we are out of time, but Patty, where can folks find you if they want to follow? I'm assuming you have a social media where you can, release little tips and that kind of thing. Where can we follow along?
Yes, at Duchess of Decorum on Instagram and TikTok, and also my book, Never Date a Broke, Do the Financial Freedom Playbook.
I like the oh, it's right behind you. I like the title.
Yes, it's right here.
Love it.
Patty, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
For once, I'm not jealous of California weather.
Right?
Yeah, look at this.
It's phenomenal.
Normally, I'm always like, oh my gosh, get me to SoCal.
Such a nice day today. This whole week is going to be fantastic.
Yes, I love the 7-day, Caitlin.